through the escalators.
I have spotted Burrito. It's one of the best things I've ever eaten in my entire life.
Right, today's a big day. First off, we had a little trouble parking. We're going to the Academy of Motion Pictures Museum. It opened a couple years ago, full of props and memorabilia from all different movies throughout all of time. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see some of the props that they have in here.
All right, so we're heading in the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures. All right, this is the main lobby. So it's timed entry. We got our little wristband. You just can't show up. You have to kind of make a reservation. Motion pictures, more commonly known as movies or films, are the world's most popular art form. Encompassing many aspects of the visual and performing arts, cinema refers to art, technique, and business of making and exhibiting movies. So it looks like they have a theater here and they play different movies throughout the week. Now, one of my favorite movies of all time, Catch Me If You Can, with Tom Hanks and Leo. Photo from 1953, the Chinese theater. Look how different it is. They have that giant front out there. Okay, this is really cool. I'm looking at the neon that they use for the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and it's the exact same neon design they had over the classic Chinese theater. Here's Carthay Circle at 1931 for a premiere, and then here's how the Chinese theater looked in 1930. Now, the architecture in here is otherworldly. We're in kind of like the Oscars room right now. This was the Oscar that was given out for visual effects for Star Wars. They saved the best for last. Best animated feature film.
And the Oscar goes to Shrek, Aaron Warner.
This is the first Academy Award nomination and the first Oscar.
For Shrek, the Shrek Academy Award.
Shrek is love, Shrek is life.
Here's all the different components that make a movie, right? Start up here. The acting, the cinematography, the editing, the PR, the marketing, the production design, the visual effects, the screenwriting, the music, the executives, the costume design, the animation, casting, directing, makeup and hairstyles, producing, and sound. It takes an army to like make a movie. Put a little behind the scenes shot of Casablanca. Here's Sam's piano. The doors from set of Rick's Cafe. And over here we have Sam's piano also. It's crazy to see like the piano in the film, and then you look over and then the piano's right there. This is the snapback worn by Ice Cube in Boys in the Hood. And over here, the nameplate and stress balls used by Lawrence Fishburne as Furious Styles. And they have a whole Godfather exhibit here. The art of movie making, The Godfather. So let's talk about the different marketing of The Godfather. Said that they launched with one of the most successful PR efforts in movie history. The campaign capitalized on the book's popularity, touted Brando's comeback performance, and drew on public interest in the mafia. So Gordon Willis used these lenses to film Godfather Part 1 and then Part 2. So it said The Godfather Part 2 was shot on a camera just like this one. So this is not the exact same one that they used for filming, but it's the exact same model. This mandolin was used for the recording of the Godfather Part 2 soundtrack. They even have the horse head that was used in The Godfather. Now this was a taxidermied horse head. Here's some blueprints for the neon sign. So here's a little behind the scenes of like, this is how he started. And he added all the makeup. And by the end of it, that's how he looked. Paramount Motion Pictures now shooting sign for The Godfather Part 2. This is really cool. So this would be Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather notebook. Kind of all the notes that he had and what he wanted to use from the book. That's really cool. We're heading into this next room. The costume that Charlton Heston wore in Ben-Hur. It's crazy the amount of detail, right, that they put into these things. Meryl Streep's costume from Mamma Mia. Here's some concept art for Terminator. Daniel Craig as James Bond. One of Disney's biggest flops, the Dick Tracy movie. I wonder what would have happened if this movie was successful. But here's the costume from the film. This is getting really cool now. So this is the wig that Michael Keaton wore for Beetlejuice. This is going to be Joyce's wig from Edward Scissorhands. Poison Ivy's wig, but the one that's really cool is the one that Robin Williams wore for Mrs. Doubtfire. Through the escalators.
I have spotted Bruce. This is like one of the big things I want to see. I think it's a level up, but oh, it's so cool.
This place is pretty bougie. All the clocks here are Rolex clocks. Oh, this is cool. This is like the backdrops for the films. Headed into the animation area. Some of the artwork from Mary Blair from Alice in Wonderland. I've never seen this stuff before. And they also have some artwork for Peter Pan. From the Pixar short Bow, Ursula, and the Corpse Bride. This is Jiminy Cricket. This was made in 1940. We paint and plaster. It's crazy that things like this survived. These are from the film The Missing Link. And then this is Mr. Link from The Missing Link. So it's all the puppet components from Jack Skellington for The Nightmare Before Christmas. When they had to change his mouth or emotion, you know, they would just pop on a new head. Now this is Walt Disney Animators Frank Thomas's animation desk. This was used from 1967 until 2004. Here's all the different animation drawings. This is where all the good stuff is. Danny DeVito's prosthetic to play the penguin. And they have Louis Armstrong's B-flat trumpet here.
Honestly, the whole reason I want to come here. So this Bruce is from the original mold from Jaws. All the sharks were destroyed after production. Sad story about the orca from the original movie. They had it on the Universal Studios backlot. They didn't maintain it. And Steven would go out there and kind of hang out. Universal just like junked it. They just like threw it in the trash because the wood was starting to rot.
The orca used to be right there. Joe Orca was here. And I used to come out for about a couple of years after I made the movie to get all over my PTSD. I would work through my own trauma, because it was traumatic.
For making that film?
Sitting in that boat alone for hours. I would just sit in that boat alone for hours, just working through, and I would shake. I'd get in the boat and my hands would shake. And then I was fine, and 5-6 years went by. I hadn't seen the boat in 5 years. Decided to just come back and revisit it. It was gone. Somebody, unbeknownst to me or Sid Sheinberg, who ran the studio, had torn it up and just thrown it away, thrown the entire boat away. Because they said there was dry rot, there were termites. Well, of course there were termites and dry rot.
They didn't even ask Steven, so Steven was pretty pissed when Universal did that on the Universal Hollywood backlot. But so Greg Nicotero and his team, they do all the makeup effects on The Walking Dead. They restored this shark.
Bruce the mechanical shark was forgotten. The actual shark props used in the movies were lost to time. But then one of the Bruces was discovered.
And this shark ended up going off to a junkyard in Sun Valley.
This is Bruce, the junkyard Jaws, made from the mold that made the 3 sharks that were actually used in the movie.
The 4th shark was originally brought to my attention by Jaws fan. The 4th Jaws shark was in existence at an auto parts junkyard in Sun Valley.
Nathan inherited the business from his father, Sam Adwin, who in 1990 was buying vehicles from Universal's transportation department. Now, Nathan doesn't know exactly how it happened. His father died more than 10 years ago. All he knows is, one day, lumped into a huge batch of cars at Universal was a shark.
Greg Nicotero is a Hollywood special effects director, but he's also been tasked with restoring this shark, made from the original Jaws molds some 45 years ago.
And this was on display at Universal for probably 15 or 20 years. So when you went to Universal, you could pose with the shark. When Jaws came out in 1975, the execs at Universal realized they had the biggest hit in the world, but nothing on the backlot tour to represent the movie. So I always figured they pulled the molds out of the original shark, and they had the studio prop department make a fiberglass copy. And this shark was on display at Universal till the mid-90s. So they repainted it a bunch of times, and finally it was retired to a junkyard.
But then he was replaced with a more realistic-looking shark. Bruce ended up at the junkyard, baking in the sun for another 2 decades or so. And
they had covered the entire shark with this almost like tar. It's like roofing tar, and then they textured it and they painted it. So
pretty rough shape. It needed a major restoration. It was filled with wasp nests and dirt.
So Bruce is doing what a lot of Hollywood stars do, getting some serious plastic surgery.
The first thing we had to do was tear all the outer covering off. And underneath was a fiberglass copy that the studio people had made in 1975. It was in really good shape. It had a bunch of spiderweb cracks in it here and there, but it was ultimately the exact shape of the shark that they had intended to film. So we cleaned all the scratches up, repainted it. I sculpted the inside of the mouth because the shark didn't have an interior of the mouth or the back clasper fins. And I had castings of the original teeth that I got from Joe Alves, the production designer. So we recreated the inside of the mouth and put the whole shark back together. So it took about 7 months. I had a team of about 9 people that worked on it almost every day.
They have a big observation area over here. Got a wonderful view. Oh my gosh, this is impressive. I'm sure a lot of people get married up here. Gift shop here. Let's see what they have. Anything cool in the gift shop. The Oscars official party kit. They also have a gourmet Oscar popcorn, so you can purchase like a little ornament version of the Oscar statue made out of Legos. They do have some ET merch, a little ET Hallmark ornament. And I thought Universal might have this, but no. It's got the Academy Museum motion pictures on the back of this ET sweater. All right, this is pretty cool. You got Dorothy slippers. There's like a short sleeve shirt. Great. And then they have a little slipper purse. They have a Kevin McAllister Home Alone ornament. They have a bunch of vinyls you can buy. The Exorcist, Terminator. We just exited the museum. We're at the like the little art museum for LA right outside. And everybody takes their basic Instagram photo here. And this is like that Instagram pic versus reality. There's just like so many people. You know what this reminds me of? You ever have like Roller Coaster Tycoon, or like you had the park and you could just like make all these different buildings the exact same right next to each other? This is what it looks like. Just looks like some glitch in the Matrix or something. I guess that's the art vibe they were going for. Look at you. Work it. Work it.
Hi,
yes.
Everybody. My grip is giving out.
Kevin's like looking the other way.
Look at Kevin's face.
All right, we're gonna be going to a Burrito Bomba.
I just got my burrito. This thing pounds.
Oh my God.
Okay, so in the hangover breakfast burrito, it's got fresh scrambled eggs, breakfast potatoes, cheese, queso fresco, pico de gallo, bomba sauce, and then it has steak, bacon, sausage, and chorizo. This looks like the best burrito of all time. Look at that. Look at the steam coming off of that. That's everything. That's one of the best things I've ever eaten in my entire life. Not only does it taste amazing, it's packed amazingly. So it's not falling out, not too saucy. It lets the flavors breathe in there. Oh my God. Every single bite is an experience. Look. You just like unlock different levels in your taste buds. Every bite. We're halfway through right now. Now it's time for part 2.
Finish. There's the aftermath.
Get it here nice and close, okay? That is one of the best burritos I've ever had in my entire life. Oh my God. It's perfection. Everything is gonna be compared to that now. That was an experience. From beginning to end, nothing to improve upon. It was just perfect. Utterly perfect. Yeah, the Mona Lisa of breakfast burritos.
It's a must.
Okay, now guys, we are back at home. That is the best burrito I've ever had in my entire life. It's located about 20 minutes outside Universal Studios Hollywood. If you're visiting, stop by there. It's so good. Get that hangover breakfast burrito. It'll change your life. Now, let's talk about the Academy of Motion Pictures Museum, right? I'm a big movie buff and a cinema nerd, so it was like my heaven walking in there and seeing all the different props and artifacts. There's so much that I didn't show in the video. I just kind of gave you the short, sweet, and to the point. Some of my favorite highlights that I saw throughout the museum. Now, when you look at each one of those little props and artifacts, right, there's a whole story behind them, a whole story behind how they were made, right? And then how they were used in the film, and then how they were saved and then preserved. The one prop that I want to kind of talk a little more about that I like really nerded out and freaking out about was it looks like a kind of like a cyborg dinosaur. That strange looking device is so important to modern day cinema. Here's the little backstory behind it, right? So when Jurassic Park was being made, they were going to be making Jurassic Park. They were going to be doing stop animation dinosaurs. And then there was kind of some breakthroughs at ILM. They were no longer going to be using stop animation. They're going to be using fully CG dinosaurs. This is groundbreaking for the time. The stuff still holds up when you watch it today. They use this little device and they kind of like puppeteered and animated it, kind of like a stop animated dinosaur, to then translate the movements into the computer.
What was developed was the DID, or dinosaur input device, which was a traditional stop motion armature with motion encoders, which would translate anything we animated into a computer model. So it bridged the gap of stop motion animation into the digital age.
So that's why that little device was really cool to see in person, because I'd seen it my entire life, right? Watching all the behind the scenes specials for Jurassic Park. I walked in the room and I was like, holy shit. It's right there. But tickets are only like $25. Not too bad. We spent like 2 hours there. Great time at the Motion Picture Museum. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. If you have not already, hit the subscribe button and join the family.
I love the family.
Because I'm going to keep you up to date on all things theme park and attractions around the country. I love you all, and I'll see y'all very soon.
Shrek is love.
Lay a heart in the sky.